Hi everyone, my name is Kawanda Hall, and today I'll be demonstrating the policy skill of stakeholder analysis and how it can be applied to expanding trauma-informed care in rural communities. I chose this topic because in my field and research I've seen firsthand how rural areas depend on collaboration across agencies, schools, churches, and health systems to meet community needs. This presentation shows how the stakeholder analysis helps us identify those relationships and strengthen them for sustainable policy change. So first, what is stakeholder analysis? It is a systemic way of mapping who has a stake in policy issues, who's affected, who holds influence, and who can move a solution forward. The goal is to strengthen policy outcomes through inclusion and awareness of power dynamics. In policy practice, it fits within the formulation and implementation stages. It's grounded in systems theories, reminding us that people and institutions function as interdependent parts of one system. In trauma-informed systems, stakeholder analysis is important because it supports, again, safety, trust, empowerment, and collaboration, ensuring that every voice, especially those most impacted, is heard. Next, we're going to talk about why it matters. In rural areas, behavioral health efforts face barriers like limited infrastructure, workforce shortages, along with service gaps. Stakeholder analysis helps communities leverage existing relationships and, more than anything, bridge those gaps. And rural policy work capacity isn't just about resources, it's about relationships. When resources are scarce, relationships become capacity. Effective coordination and trust make trauma-informed implementation sustainable. All right, so now we're going to move along to the first step, and that is to identify stakeholders. Again, identifying who's connected to the issue, both directly and indirectly, is very important. For trauma-informed care, that includes clients, families, therapists, school staff, DSS, health departments, and faith-based leaders. Each plays a unique role in shaping how services are delivered. This stage builds awareness, making sure no one affected by the policy is left out of the conversation. It's like assembling a puzzle. Every piece matters, and understanding how they fit gives us a complete picture of the system we're trying to improve. Moving along to step number 2, assess influence and interest. Once stakeholders are identified, the next step is to assess their influence and interest. Influence shows who has the power to make or block decisions. Interest shows who's most invested. For example, take a DSS director. They may have high influence and high interest, while a community volunteer may have a high interest but less formal power. In rural settings, power doesn't always come with title. As a respected pastor or teacher, they can hold tremendous community influence. Recognizing those dynamics allows us to engage people effectively and respectfully. And when it comes down to a trauma-informed practice rooted in trust and empowerment, this is important moreover. Finally, here as step number 3, developing engagement, this speaks to the stakeholder engagement method and outcome. In this step, planning how to connect and collaborate with each stakeholder group is very essential. A high-influence partner, again like DSS, might join policy planning meetings or data sharing sessions, while a community member, they may respond best to listening circles or storytelling forums. Using trauma-informed engagement means meeting people where they are, promoting safety again, and giving them a voice and choice. When engagement is intentional, it transforms isolated efforts into a coordinated, sustainable system of care. Okay, so now that we have reviewed the steps and how we get from point A to point C, here's a stakeholder analysis and how it applies to Robeson County, where Living at Peace PLLC serves as a rural behavioral health provider. This is a space that I work at for my internship site. This region faces major challenges in infrastructure and cross-agency coordination. Here you see with the EcoMap, mapping helps stakeholders reveal strong relationships, developing partnerships, and strained connections needing attention. And you can see here at the bottom the key for solid green for strong, dashed orange for developing or moderating, and jagged red for strained relationships. Using this map, again, agencies can target advocacy such as cross-training between DSS and schools, or building trust with faith and tribal leaders. Stakeholder analysis helps move from that isolated services towards coordinated, culturally rooted, trauma-responsive systems of care. Okay, so before we wrap it up here, I just wanted to say that I hope you all were able to take away the importance of the policy skill of stakeholder analysis and how it connects to everything that we do in social work, whether that's from the client advocacy to large-scale policy change, in that keeping of that case to cause that we've learned about so much throughout the semester. Again, stakeholder analysis, it shows how power, relationships, and networks shapes outcomes, especially in rural areas where resources may be limited, but connections run deep. By applying this process, social workers again can design policies that are effective, equitable, and trauma-informed. Ultimately, this skill strengthens our capacity to lead with collaboration, evidence, and empathy, which is the heart of Competency 5 and of the social work profession itself. Thank you for listening.